I'd like to continue on fake prototypes.
You'd like to continue with that? Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. I'm Shane, and this is a toy collector podcast. We also like to talk about pop culture, movies, TV shows, all the stuff related to the toys that we love. And some of it is newer stuff that we like to chat about too. Some media that's out that maybe, doesn't have toys, but it's all stuff that people like us like. So if you're watching the show, hopefully you'll like what we're talking about. We're going to be talking some Star Wars today. Oh, shocker. And let's bring in Brandon A. Good
Hello,
evening,
Shane.
my friends.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. You're always a big fan of sharing our Patreon URL. You're the Patreon master over there. You're always bounty hunting for toys at toy shows for our Patreon members.
Correct. This last show, the latest toy show I went to, I found stuff for 4 different people, 4 different Patreon members.
Nice.
Yeah. So
very good.
4 very happy people.
And they're only seeing the shots of those toy, the tables and the displays in Patreon as a member, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Is John a Patreon member?
He is a non-paying lurker. He's a voyeur of the Patreon page.
Right.
I get the email notifications.
Correct. Yes. Now, I already know the answer for this next fellow. Chris is not a Patreon member. He is not tech savvy. He wouldn't even know how to log into Patreon if you forced him to.
That is all false. I run Patreon with Brandon. It's about a 60-40 split. He's 60, I'm 40.
Okay. John told me he was mistaken what he told me.
I am logged in most of the time until I get logged out by someone in Jersey.
Yeah, somebody in South Jersey, 3 hours south of me, closer to Long Island, frankly, than my house. But okay,
correct.
Right? Yeah.
So
all right. So here we are. What we're going to kick this episode off with, we're going to talk a little bit about Kathleen Kennedy stepping down as the head of Lucasfilm, or I don't know if it's Lucasfilm. It's basically Star Wars within Disney. I guess it's Lucasfilm, but
it's Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I mean, has been running the whole show for quite some time now, and there's a lot of Star Wars fans that don't like her. They have been wanting her to retire for years. But I will say this, if you're not aware, and most of us are aware, if you go and look at her career and, you go to the IMDb page, that's what you do for actors and directors, go look at the stuff that she has produced in her career. And she's got to be an older woman now. I don't know how old she is, but she has been at this since she was in her 20s. And the collection of stuff, movies mostly, that she has produced and been a creator on will take your breath away. I mean, she's one of the most successful people
breath away.
Around, George Lucas, and I think she's done some stuff with Spielberg, and
well, she did all the Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just watching movies, you almost don't even need to go to IMDb. Pay attention when you put a movie on, and you see her name pop up in the first minute of movies, classic all-time movies, and it's dozens of them. So she has had a very, very successful career, but she is stepping down. We're going to talk about that, but first, we're going to throw it over to Brandon. He's got some follow-up comments and a little bit of an update for us on the last episode we did last Sunday about modern prototypes. We've seen listings pop up for tons. Was it 2 weeks ago, John?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago, tons of modern prototypes from specifically the Star Wars retro collection series, the modern figures that are designed to look like the old vintage style. And Brandon, what have you learned from people in the know who are collectors of modern prototypes?
Well, as of this recording, they are still being pumped on Deal or No Deal. So
yeah,
I talked to a buddy of mine that is pretty dialed in with prototype stuff, and he mentioned what I said in that chat, but John's not in the chat. But the fact that Hasbro has such tight control of the prototypes that nothing really leaves the factory anymore, and if they do, they somehow damage it in some way, either by cutting the head in half or by cutting up the body parts and stuff like that to kind of dismember the figure, so that way it's not resellable.
This is a friend of yours that works for Hasbro?
What? No, it's a friend of mine that does modern prototypes and buys a lot of modern prototypes and has been doing it for 20-something years now. I won't share his name because I don't want to.
And he basically told me that there's no evidence of these things being real, just speculation. They're definitely, but what if these are real or not? Definitely a few others outbidding each other up, jacking up the price to a perceived value, so other people start getting involved. They are wildly overpriced. They're late to the market and have perfect colors. I would never buy them.
So to go back on what he's saying, the guy that I know said that Hasbro holds them and dismembers them, so they don't have any resale value to them or very minimal. He also said that these same kind of prototypes came out a few years ago, and that the prices were high back then as well. But he seems to think that it's a few European guys. He's kind of suspect on that. He's like, this is kind of weird. He's like, but there's nothing saying that whoever at these factories is injecting these colors and rerunning the machine for all these different ones. So they're not really legit prototypes. They're just rerunning the machines with crazy colors. On top of that, he's saying that the weapons themselves are very hard to come by, and the fact that most of these have weapons and sabers and all that, he says that's kind of weird too. So he's like, I don't know whether to say that they're fake or not, but he's like they're real, but like they're run through the machine, so they're really not prototypes. They're just colorful figures that are coming out based on somebody at the factory. And he says every few years this happens. Somebody at the factory will get creative. They'll do shit like this. They'll sell them on the market. People will buy them. They go for a lot of money, and then that person will get in trouble, or they'll go dark for a few years, and then they'll redo it again. He said this is like a thing. So he's staying away from them. He thinks it's ridiculous that they're going for this amount of money, and he thinks people are really stupid for doing it. But he doesn't think that they're legit either. But that's what he told me. I met up with him this weekend because I actually picked up a prototype from him, non-Star Wars, but.
Alien?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yes, Alien and Predator. So I met up with him this weekend, and I asked him about that, what he thought, and he's like, yeah, I've seen them. He's like, the price is way too high. I think somebody's rerunning the machine. The fact that they're coming with weapons is very odd, and the fact that Hasbro nowadays does not let any prototypes out of their site, and they definitely damage them, so that way they don't have any resale value. So he's like, this is very odd that these are coming out, especially in Europe. So buyer beware.
Buyer beware.
Yeah. And everybody seems to be agreeing with us. And that comment that was on Facebook, Shane, when you posted the episode, or whoever posted the episode on Facebook, somebody commented like, "Hey, I don't know if they're legit or not, but like, maybe the machine kept going and they keep producing more." Yeah, well, obviously it's not a first shot prototype if you keep producing more.
Yeah.
Right.
No. In wild colors, highly desired colors. He seems to think nowadays they're starting to do 3D printed prototypes more and more as 3D printers keep getting better. That's what they're doing now, like for Hasbro and Mattel and all that.
Just be ashamed to see these people that are on the page like legitimately getting screwed buying them.
Oh my God!
All this money on this.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Hot garbage.
Yeah, really.
Hot in the streets garbage. So
Well,
I don't know if we're wrong. I'd love to have somebody that can comment or come on the podcast and tell us why we're
here's
wrong
the thing.
and prove it.
If we're wrong, we're only wrong in the sense that it's real, which I'm not even at this point. I don't care if they're real or not. Honestly, I don't care if they're real or not. I'm complaining about the price. That I can tell you I'm 100% sure is fake. Those prices are fake.
Yeah.
Not real. It's a couple of people from Botswana and Uganda shill bidding.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
we don't, just to be clear, we don't know if the people who sell them are in the know or secretly know the legitimacy of these figures, or they're just ignorant to the provenance of them. They've had them in their collection and now they're selling them or whatever. But I mean, let's just say I think we are all in agreement to say to our fellow collectors out there, just be careful. If you're spending money that you maybe can't afford to just throw away, just be careful. They're selling for very high numbers, and kind of from what we've heard behind the scenes is they're prototypes of that ilk from that time frame, the last 3-4 years. You do not typically sell that high, even if they're legit. So be careful. Be careful. All right, let's turn it over to Kathleen Kennedy. Who wants to jump in and
please, Kathleen,
kick it off?
Is she here?
She is here. She's in our green room. We're going to bring her in now. We're going to take John out, and no, absolutely, she's not.
One thing that you brought up, having me on. One thing you brought up, Shane, about her IMDb list, and I know a lot of people, like you said, don't like her too much for recent things. I don't think she's the only one to blame, because she has been around for all the 80s and 90s and early 2000s somewhat successful movies. So not everything that she's touched has gone to crap. But I think stuff as of late, she is, I guess, a scapegoat for most of it, and the direction that Lucasfilm is heading in some of that. So I think that's probably why there's a lot of angst against her and people wanting her out. So, but she's still staying on as like a producer for some of the stuff that's coming out. She's not leaving completely. I think she's just stepping down as the CEO.
That's what they always do, just so she can still get a paying job and then really do nothing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Let's also make sure we mention that she is only 5'3.5" So this is not a tall woman. Let's make sure we make that clear. Chris, are you on board with that?
That would be correct. She would be 1.5 inches taller than my wife then. Yes.
She's a half inch shorter than my wife. Her husband is Frank Marshall. That's worth mentioning.
I like Frank Marshall.
They got married in 1987, and
who's that?
She's 72 years old now.
Who's Frank?
Frank Marshall is a big time producer.
Yeah, I think he did like Walking Dead or worked on The Walking Dead, I believe.
He is most known for
stuff that I remember.
Congo, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Signs, which I love.
Great movie.
It's my wife's most hated movie. She hates aliens. Raiders of the Lost Ark. So listen, we're not here to talk about Frank Marshall, but he's got 166 producer credits. He's a big time, he's been around forever. So they're a power couple, a producer couple. But I do want to talk about Kathleen Kennedy's stuff, and we could just mix it in a little bit. I don't want to go through the list here, but go ahead and jump in.
I was just going to say that I don't like her. I never liked her. I'm so glad that she's leaving. I don't think that it can get any worse than how it's been the last 5 or 10 years with her there. Whether she's directly to blame or not, I don't really care about her political views that's being pushed in this crap, whether, again, it's her or not. I want to watch Star Wars just for Star Wars, I don't really care about all the outside stuff in the world being involved in today's Star Wars. Like, who cares? She's put out a lot of fantastic things, yes, but that was unfortunately 20, 30 years ago. Besides for Rogue One, I think every part of Star Wars released has been absolute hot garbage.
What about Andor? Andor is her most recent producer credit. Probably because of the second season.
I still have never seen season 2.
I haven't either.
I never watched it. I can't. It is just. Is season 1 fantastic? Like John said, yes. But anytime it takes a show half a season to get to the fantastic part, I don't believe it's really fantastic. The episodes that are good, really good, but the ones that are bad are really bad. So, like, if it was a little bit more in the medium, like in the middle, then fine. I can't get through season 2. I've already given up. I will, at this point, never go back and watch it, ever. But I can't stand her. I'm glad she's gone. I think she sucks. And anything else? You guys want my honest opinion?
So who will never do something more? Chris going back and watching Andor season 2, or Brandon shopping and bidding on things at Hakes auction? Remember that was a big thing. He said he will never ever. We have a message in here somewhere. Brandon will never ever shop at Hakes auction. Oh wait, what do we have here? Well, that's Chris, but Brandon's.
Well, in our latest Wins and Wisps, we actually did talk about shipping and how egregious it is from CAS and whatever AFA too, probably
all these companies.
But you want to talk about shipping and getting ripped off? Hakes definitely rips you off with shipping, so much so, and their buyer's fees that I refuse to even go on auctions anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You're going to end up paying a lot more than you think you are.
I know this is not an episode about. I know this is not an episode about that at all. But one quick note I'll add is that they are lazy to find and build boxes for an item itself. So if an item is this big, they will use a box this big and fill it with whatever needs to be filled and just charge you for it because they're too lazy to break it down to like this. Or get a box like this. So it's like they only have this or they have that, and they just stick you in it.
So they tried to charge me. I bought a few mocks, graded mocks, a couple years ago, and they charged me. They wanted to charge me $300 to ship here. My brother lives in York, Pennsylvania, which is where Hakes is. I had him go pick it up for me, and he's like, "What did you buy? Because it's taking up the entire back of my SUV." And I'm like, this is 5 graded mocks. He's like, can I take them out? I'm like, sure. He took them out. He's like, look at the fucking box that they wanted to ship these in. Yeah, no wonder they were going to charge you $300. It was a box. You could literally take a bath with all the packing peanuts in there inside the box. And so put them in a smaller box and send them to me for $40.
And Chris does take bubble baths with the packing peanuts. Don't tempt him.
I do it with Kathleen Kennedy on the weekend.
Ridiculous.
All right, so back to Kathleen Kennedy. Her first job was she does have a credit here for Poltergeist as an associate producer, but in her bio it says her first job was getting a producer credit on the low budget E.T., the extraterrestrial, with Steven Spielberg. So she hit a good one right off the bat.
Yeah.
And, in the first few years, Twilight Zone, the movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
All these winners.
Gremlins. And I'll stop for the moment at the Goonies. She was actually an executive producer on the Goonies, associate producer on the other few. Actually, executive on the Gremlins as well.
Does she know that Adam Chitwood tore apart the house and is selling it for to fund his kids' college?
I don't understand how she was literally a part of so many amazing movies that pretty much built our childhood. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, like lately I just feel like, I mean, at least with Star Wars, I don't know if she does anything outside of Star Wars. So I honestly can't comment on that like nowadays.
She did Indiana Jones, the latest one.
Right. Well, that was Lucasfilm, though, too.
Yeah, Lucasfilm. I just feel like everything in Star Wars itself, I just like, and I want to like it. Everyone thinks like I want to hate it. I don't want to hate it. I want to like it. I actually like Rogue One. I loved. I really think Rogue One is one of the greatest movies all time.
It really is. It
Top
really
10.
is.
Like I love Rogue One. It's amazing.
It's a great movie.
But I just feel like a lot of the stuff that they put out has just not been good, and I don't know. I don't understand why. Like,
yeah. You know what? I will say this though. You know, as we are all getting older, and you know now we're all at the point where we're the same age that our parents were. You know, when we were old enough that we were starting to think for ourselves, and we thought our parents knew everything when we were 14 and 15. You know, we wished they didn't know everything, but we thought they did. Well, here we are. We're in our 40s, and we realize they absolutely didn't, and nobody knows everything, and life is hard and all that stuff. But you see your parents go from their 30s and 40s to where they're Kathleen Kennedy's age now. My mom is, like 74. They're almost the same age. The opinions that my mom has and the way that she, goes about her life, nothing is wrong. It's just that I have absolutely identified that she is a very different person than she was when she was our age and a little bit younger, even like 35 to 45. So all I can say is Kathleen Kennedy, we don't know how much she had to do with each of these movies. I'm sure she had a lot to do with a lot of them, but she's absolutely a different person than she was when she was working on Back to the Future in 1984, coming out in 1985, and then The Color Purple, which won Oscars, later that same year. I mean, fantastic movies, but she's just a different person. So not saying good or bad. I'm just saying if her input on these movies the last 20 years, 15, 20 years is not what you remember from the old movies, that's understandable, honestly. Doesn't mean we have to like it, but
that's why it's a good move that they're getting rid of her, because I think that people like change is always good, in my opinion. I don't really think change can always be bad. Change can be good. And I think in this instance, change is good. I think it's what is needed. When you're coming out and saying, "Oh, we're going to do 37, Star Wars TV shows," and then you only put out, let's say, 7 of them, and of the 7 of them, 4 of them get canceled at the season 1, and then they cancel the other 30. Like, something obviously is going wrong here. They're not even making any more movies. Like, they've already said that there's no movies that are like coming up in the slate now, or whatever it is. Now that I think they want to get away from TV shows. Now they want to go back to movies. They just seem like they're all over the place.
Well, Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out in May. So that's the big movie that's on the slate. We've heard about it now for probably a year and a half.
Don't even care.
And there is another movie, Starfighter, is on the slate. I don't know the timeline on that. I'm not. It's far enough. Yeah, it's far enough out that I don't even look into that right now. But
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
the last Starfighter?
No,
the last Starfighter.
Starfighter.
Oh, okay.
They did enough of the TV's shows where they didn't mix it up. And yes, there was COVID. Nobody was going to the movies. I get that aspect of it, but they went too far to one side of the dial, and they stopped having box office coming in. Yeah. I mean, the Star Wars movies brought in $1 billion each. You put that on Disney Plus. Are they getting $1 billion worth of subscribers? I don't think so.
If they would have did the Obi-Wan movie as a movie, because I watched the movie format version, that movie would have made a ton of money. But when they broke it up into 6 episodes, again, I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I liked the movie format of it. It would have made a lot of money if it was in the movie.
And I'll throw another one at you that's kind of in the same vein, because they were done as a Star Wars story, right? There was supposed to be that branch of Rogue One was the first a Star Wars story, and then we got Solo. And I'll tell you, Solo got hammered in the movie theaters, hammered in the box office, hammered in the reviews. I really like Solo. I'm not saying it's nowhere near Rogue One. I love Rogue One. but you can sit down and really enjoy yourself watching Solo. You know, you get to see Chewbacca and Hami, and yeah, I know it's a different actor. Maybe you don't like him. It's an enjoyable movie. I like Kira. I like some of the new characters. I love the young Lando. I mean, Donald Glover was amazing as the young Lando. But what kills me is that whatever they did with this movie, whatever the reasons were that it didn't do well, we're not getting a Land. Maybe we'll still get a Lando. I've heard rumors, but we were supposed to get a Lando movie or a Lando series. They left it as a big cliffhanger where we were going to get Darth Maul back in the movies.
Yeah.
And we don't get that. Like, they messed it up to where we should have gotten more. And I wish we did, because I enjoyed it. And now we're not going to. So
I can tell you honestly,
and that's why they didn't do Obi-Wan as a movie, because of Han Solo.
I've never seen a Solo movie, so I would not even know. I've never watched it.
I think the real test is going to be once Dave Filoni gets in to see how everything functions under him. Like, who is really pulling the strings? You know, as far as like content and agenda, and like Chris was talking about. I think it's going to be interesting to see when Filoni gets in. Go ahead.
I was just saying, just go back to making shows and movies and put the best actor that you can find and the best actress in there. And I don't really need to have 19 interviews about how she's a lesbian or gay and this and that before the show comes out. Just put him in there. Describe the character that you're playing. Don't describe the person you are in the real world, because I don't care. None of that means anything to me. Right. I just want to see a good show.
It's like Harrison Ford's quote from when he was like, he did an audition, and I guess the talent scout said, when somebody else played the same character, who was it? Was it Tony Curtis, I think, was playing a character? And he goes, when the screencaster said, when Tony Curtis comes on the screen, you say, that is a star. And Harrison Ford said, I thought that when I looked up on the screen, I was supposed to say, that guy is carrying out groceries. You're supposed to be like the actor, you know what I mean?
Correct, yeah.
The person that's doing the acting, you're supposed to believe him as that character, and you don't worry about, like you were saying.
Yeah, we don't care about your personal things. Like, none of that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes maybe those things come out after a movie comes out, which is perfectly fine. But no one cares about it beforehand. Like, and God's honest truth, most people don't really care about that stuff. We just want to see a good show, a good movie. But when all they talk about is that stuff leading up to the show, like, you're already turning me off at that point. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, and I say this to my wife regularly, because we do love movies, we do love TV, we try to watch, as much as we can, and there are some actors that I will call out. I said this to my wife about a month ago. I forget who it was, but there was an actor that at this point we've seen him in so many things, and we were watching something, and I said, I just got to stop for a second. I'm sitting here so enthralled by this movie and this actor's role in the movie. It's like I completely forgot that it was actually so-and-so, that we've seen him in 20 different types of roles. You get lost in those best actors who just become the character, and you forget for a second it's the same guy who did a very different character. You're aware, but you forget. Sometimes it's just the physicality. You see The Rock in a movie, it's The Rock every single time. Like, you're picturing The Rock no matter who he's playing. You see, Channing Tatum in something. It's like you never forget that it's Channing. These are not great actors. They're movie stars. They're action guys. Yeah. But there's some actors that are so good, and I'm not talking about Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm talking about just good, solid actors that are just able to make you forget reality.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And he's one that's so big that
Denzel.
You never quite forget it's him, but you do buy into his characters. But there's some guys who almost just melt away, and all you know is you're watching this story.
Melt, especially when they're shirtless.
Yeah.
Bokeem Woodbine.
he was just in Ghostbusters. I was watching with my son. Did you know he was in that?
What was he?
He's the sheriff in Ghostbusters. The not the original, not the one with the
Afterlife or whatever.
Finn Wolfhard or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Afterlife? the first one of the reboot. He's the sheriff, and his daughter is the one that the kid falls in love with.
He's a good character actor. He melts into the character for sure.
Yes, I mean he's fantastic in The Wire. I mean that's what he's most known for.
Yeah.
But, so just to pepper it in, one of my favorite movies of all time,
Bomar Monk.
Bomar Monk, the Money Pit. That is one of my favorite movies. I laugh so hard every time with Tom Hanks. She was she was the producer on that. An American Tail, which was a huge cartoon movie that came out. Inner Space with Dennis Quaid and what's his name?
Martin Short.
Martin Short, very funny. Empire of the Sun. Batteries not
movie
included.
Of all time.
Empire of the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Batteries not included.
All time.
Yep.
Who framed Roger Rabbit? That was so big when it came out. Land Before Time, Back to the Future Part 2, Joe versus the Volcano, Back to the Future 3, Gremlins 2, Arachnophobia, and I'll stop at Cape Fear, which was another big box office movie in 1991.
Good movie.
I mean, how many people can you name that were in a major role with that many big name movies? Not many.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the transition to Dave Filoni, because the thought that I was having earlier when we were talking about, she's an older woman now. She's been around for a long time. She's been with Lucasfilm for a long time. I think an easy way to say it is Star Wars is a young person's game. It sounds weird to say because it's been around for so long.
I agree.
But, I mean, I don't know how old he was, but I'm sure he was young. Look back, how young was George Lucas when he put all this together, when he wrote all these screenplays? How young was he when he did this trilogy?
He was probably in his 20s and early 30s.
Right. So, we're all past that now. So it's when I say it's a young person's game, I don't mean it's a 20-year-old's game. I mean, you get out of your 40s, maybe like you get past 55. I mean, you're too old to be writing new Star Wars at that point, in my opinion. Let's get some fresh blood in. And I think that he is the perfect transition because he grew up with this like we did.
You just got done saying that your mom is not... No, I'm actually agreeing with Shane. He just got done saying that his mom is not the same person that she was 25 or 30 years ago. So how could we possibly think a 70, 60-year-old woman making these movies is going to do anything that 20-year-old kids or 30-year-old kids are going to want to watch?
No, yeah, 100%.
They're just different kind of people. So that's why when I was saying any change right now, getting her out and putting someone in cannot be a bad thing. Right. Maybe getting some young, fresh blood in that actually is more involved in the world and knows
more hip and down with the times and knows what the people want.
Yeah, somebody who's down with the Skibbity Rizzlers. We want them in there now. No,
Skibbity Rizzlers.
False.
But we also want someone who's going to maintain like a connection to the past and the connection to the original lore and all that stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You got to keep an open mind with this kind of stuff. And Shane, you're right. Yeah, the older, people change their minds and they start, thinking about different things as they get older and stuff that's important to them when it's not really important to, people now, like younger people now. So,
well, I'm going to have to bite my tongue a little bit here or step back or something, because I guess I better be careful what I say. I just Googled it. Dave Filoni is 51 years old. So he's not a 40 or 42-year-old. I mean, he's not a young guy, but he grew up with this.
Yeah, and he's 20 years younger than a woman who has been in charge doing it. So, I mean, I like to believe that his differences in views and opinions has to be somewhat different.
Yeah, he grew up watching the old trilogy as a kid.
Yeah, and that I want a nerd at heart. That's actually what I want.
He's a nerd at heart who knows the Star Wars universe And I'm talking about even before he was doing Clone War. I mean, he knew stuff that none of us even know. Like, he knows minutia about the universe, and that's turned out to be a really good thing.
Yeah, he's old enough to understand that the prequels sucked, and that he wanted to see something better.
Well, he grew up with the original trilogy. He's older than me, so he was old enough to remember probably every one coming out. He lived probably through his 20s with the trilogy, his late 20s, probably mid to late 20s. So he was very well aware of that. Old enough to remember every little nuance that he saw, and then he's had years and years of creating off of those storylines with Clone Wars, and then fast forward to everything you've seen on Disney Plus. Dave Filoni's been involved in all of it with Jon Favreau with Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and so I think he is absolutely the right person. Are we going to be are people going to be sitting around in 15 years saying the same thing about Dave Filoni? Probably, if he's still around. But for the next 8 to 10 years, I think he's probably the right person to steer the ship. And I think he would do well to surround himself in some capacity with people younger than him, people in their 30s and 40s who are, and I'm sure he's very familiar with all the filming techniques and all the latest technology, but keep those younger people involved to where, as technology keeps progressing, you're getting the latest and greatest, and you have a feeder behind you of people that can take serious roles in this universe and keep it going.
So do the opposite of Kathleen Kennedy and don't have a room of female writers that have blue hair and shaved heads. Okay, yeah, sounds good to me.
I mean, I wonder a couple of the things that we've been critical about, Boba Fett, the Power Rangers, I don't know what specifically, when and where, Dave Filoni was involved or wasn't involved. We don't know what things maybe he was overruled on. We just don't know all that. We're never going to know all that. But with Kathleen Kennedy out of the picture, and maybe in some sense she's been out of the picture for the last year while these movies are starting to be in production, we'll see where it goes. We'll see what the results are. I think we'll have our answer in the next 2 years. I think we're going to see stuff that he's the helm of.
All the stuff
in typical Chris fashion. I'm pumped.
All the stuff this year is still with Kathleen at the helm. So,
I'm not pumped this year.
If all this sucks, it's still her fault. So
I'm pumped next year.
We'll see next year when the stuff gets announced and see if we can go back to good Star Wars.
There's so much that they can do in this world, this storyline. I keep saying universe, but there's so much that they can do. It's almost kind of shocking that they could go wrong with it, but somehow they've gone wrong. And I don't just mean the storylines, like, Boba wasn't, whatever you want to say about a certain show. Just the idea that they're not printing money hand over fist is kind of shocking. It's a little bit of a generational thing. Young kids right now are not into Star Wars.
Yeah.
But you start getting the movies back in, and that can change quickly.
I like the backstories of the characters, and they've kind of gotten away from that, I think. I wish they would have done a better job with that.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed.
Could have done a lot better. Like you said, money over fists, stacks upon stacks upon stacks.
I mean, I guess there are some examples. I wanted to say, how do you put out a Star Wars movie and not make a ton of money? But I guess whatever the box office was for Solo, it was not what they expected. And it caused them to kill the Obi-Wan movie and instead turn it into a series for Disney Plus that they were trying to launch and build. But it was absolutely going to be a movie, and there was absolutely going to be a Lando movie following it. And they killed both of those things because they were like, Solo, we lost money on Solo, or we didn't make enough money on Solo, so we're not doing it. And I think that was a wrong decision.
Well,
so we'll see. We'll see how they get back into the theaters. I do not think you can go just with Disney Plus and rely on that and not stick with everything that comes along with a movie premiere. All the glitz and glamour of a big movie coming out and all the actors doing all the big time interviews and stuff and the red carpet. I mean, there's something to it still, even in 2026 where AMC stock is $1.60 and it was up 15% today or something. I mean, the movie business is in trouble, but Avatar's coming out and making lots of money. Star Wars can come out and make a lot of money. They got to stick with that.
Yeah, but this last Avatar movie there, it's not following the trend of the first two, so he's already disappointed about Part 4 coming out.
I think he was saying something like, even after it was out, like this thing's got to keep chugging along if we're going to put out a 4 and 5.
Well, the first one made 2.9, the second one made 2.3, and they're saying that this one is not even going to reach 1.6. And 1.6, yes, sounds fantastic, but I think they have over $1 billion into it with marketing and production.
That's insane.
Because the production is always like marketing is always the same price as production, if not more.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was $480 million to make, and they have a little over $500,000 marketing. So you got over $1 billion. So. I mean,
all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. I just want to run. We stopped at 91. I just want to run through some other big movies because I don't think we were even like touching.
No, we didn't.
Hook. A bunch of cartoon movies. I'm not going to mention those, but executive producer on Schindler's List. Bridges of Madison County, Congo, An Indian in the Cupboard, Twister. Jurassic Park Lost World, The Sixth Sense, produced by AI, Jurassic Park 3, Signs I mentioned early. Well, I mentioned that for her husband. I guess she was involved as well. War of the Worlds, 2005 with Tom Cruise.
Love it.
Munich. So many. Benjamin Button, so many movies. Last Airbender. Lincoln, and then you start getting into the Star Wars, Force Awakens, and then she's involved obviously in every single Star Wars show and movie. But Girl on the Train, I mean, that was fantastic. So just a crazy career, but at some point you gotta do what John did, and you gotta retire and start doing construction work.
I've been doing construction work for 35 years.
So you were lying to us? You were not teaching history to
No,
teenagers?
I taught English for 10 of the 10.
All right. Well, Kathleen Kennedy says she may start teaching English, but if she doesn't, she's going to do construction. So we'll see how that goes. I think we'll have the answer on that within 2 years as well.
Kathleen, no mo.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks very much for watching. Kathleen Kennedy, as of, I think, this past week, is officially out. And when I just Googled Dave Filoni, it says President of Lucasfilm. So that Google updates so quick. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please support us with Patreon. Check out the links below in the description. Subscribe and comment. We'll see you next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys.
Bye.
Bye.